Hello and welcome to your subscription of Create Cosmetic Formulas. To help you get the most out of this program, I'd like to show you how it works. And of course, then it's up to you to get creative. First of all, you need to pick what type of product you'd like to create today. Now, we've sent you some information to read that tells you what the different product forms are for and what they're like, so you can make a selection that's going to suit your product needs. I'm going to pick an oil and water cream for the face. And we click Create. Now, the way I've built this program is you don't need to worry about thinking, what do I need to include? What should it contain? How much of everything should it contain? Because I've done that part for you. Now, all you have to do is pick and choose what you'd like to have in the formula. But I've also built in some restrictions, so you can't incorrectly mix materials that might be incompatible, and it also automatically generates a method depending on the materials you select. So let me show you how to make some selections, and then I'll talk you through some of the things the program will pick up if you make some incorrect selections or incorrect amounts. First of all, water makes up the majority of this type of formula, so it's automatically going to calculate the water content for you once you've made all your other ingredient selections. Then we have an option for water alternatives. You can select 0 or you can select up to 3. That's what it means over here. So let's click on this button to make our selections. And here you go, here's some choices. You could add some aloe vera juice, another hydrosol of your choice, or one of the hydrosols I've preloaded into the system. The other hydrosol gives you options if you're able to access other hydrosols that you might want to use in this formula. I'm just going to pick some lavender for this particular product, so I'll click select. You can see over here it tells you how many you can select as a minimum, so I could have a look and decide I don't want to use any of these and simply return to the formula. Or I could pick up to 3 of these and then return to the formula. I've selected 1, so I'm ready to return to the formula. And here it is listed. I can now decide how much I want to use. So I'm going to just add 5% of lavender hydrosol into my formula. You could, in reality, pick anything from 0 to 100. That's what this here means. It helps guide you in the selection for each specific material. Next, you can pick a humectant. Now, we've also sent you some information about what different types of ingredients do. Humectants are great for suppleness and they add hydration to the skin. Don't worry if you didn't already know this, because once you read the common terminology sheet that we've provided you, this will start to make more sense for you. And if you're not sure and you see it in red, it means it's absolutely necessary. Simply click on select, and you'll see some explanations about the different materials that you can pick from. The other thing I've done for you is I've let you know how natural each material is. So in this example, glycerin is naturally derived, and I also tell you what it's effective for. Propanediol is naturally derived, while propylene glycol is synthetic. So it's up to you what you'd like the material to do and how natural you want it to be. I'm going to pick glycerin for this formula, so I just click select. You'll notice here I don't have extra options. I can only pick one material, and that's over here as well. It's just a little reminder that you only need to select one. Now, it's automatically set to have at least 5% glycerin. The reason I've done this is because if you're creating this type of product, you should have around 5% of a humectant to help give suppleness and hydration to the skin. So I've already done that for you. Next, I need to pick a gum or polymer. And you can see here I need to select one. It's also red here, which means I need to select a material to fulfill this function. If you compare that to down here, these are black, which means I don't have to have these ingredients present. But to get good stability and structure out of this particular product type, I've built into the program that you must select one gum or polymer to help it achieve its product form and good shelf life. So let's select one. Now in here I've got a lot of different choices, and again I tell you how naturally derived or not the material is so that you can pick and choose. In this case I'm just going to pick the Solar Gum Tara. Now I have used some trade names of materials here because if you use different grades of materials with similar inky names, you could get a very different result. So I've provided you with some trade name examples so that you know exactly what material I'm referring to. If you use something different, just be aware you might get a different result. Now I only need to select one, so I make my selection and I return to the formula automatically. I have preset a minimum input to suit this product type into the program for you. You can stay with my minimum or you might want to use more. If you need to build extra viscosity to the product or extra stability to the product, we can simply pick more. And you can see here a total selection input. You don't need to worry too much about this. This is just one of the functionalities of the program. But let's say I pick too much. Let's say I want to put in 2% of solar gum tara. When I then go to click on another material, a warning message will come up telling me I've picked too much. So you can never get it wrong. I'm going to click OK, and it's going to default back to the maximum input value for this particular material. Next, I need to pick an anionic emulsifier, and again, if you don't understand the chemical terms, look in our common terminology sheet. I'm just using this description because it is the correct description for the material, and we need to select one of these. Again, we have lots of choices for you, and I have told you if they're naturally derived or not. In this case, I'm just going to pick the Umulgen SG. Again, I've got the trade name there so that you know exactly which grade I've used, because different grades of this material might have a slightly different result for your end formula. And I just want you to be aware of that in case your sample doesn't turn out like expected. So I'm going to select this material, and since I only have to pick one, it's going to return me straight to my formula. Now, if I want to build a lot of viscosity and stability and structure in this product, I can use around the maximum recommended input for this material. So in this case, I'm going to write in 1. Now I need to select some other materials that are specifically needed. So I'm just going to make those selections as well. Now, when it comes to lipids, which are your oil and butter materials, I have loaded a lot of different materials in here for you. Most of them are natural and naturally derived. And I've also got small descriptions to explain what each of these materials are for. So you can simply pick and choose. You'll see the way I've built this formula that you need to pick at least 2 different lipid materials with a maximum of up to 4. So let's just pick a few. I've picked 4 now, so I can return to my formula, but I could return to the formula with as little as 2 selections. Now, I've got all of these entries here. You'll see I've limited some materials. Now, whenever I've put limits in, I've done it for a reason. If you want to learn more about how to pick and choose materials, a broader selection of materials, or why I've set limits the way I have, then please learn with us, Institute of Personal Care Science. Our courses are internationally and industry recognised, and you can become a fully qualified cosmetic chemist with us. But you don't need to be a cosmetic chemist to use this program because I've put all of my knowledge and experience into this program for you. So you can simply make your selections. Now, let's just say I select too much. What's going to happen then? You can see here the number is red, which means I've exceeded the limit. And you can see here the total input for these materials can't go over 12. So I simply need to reduce these inputs until it goes black again, and then I can continue with my selections. Now, preservatives. What I've done here, preservative selection is absolutely crucial for your formula. So I have preloaded compatibilities and incompatibilities for different materials depending on other selections you make. I've also made sure that the final formula suits the preservatives you pick as well as the final method. In this case, I'm going to pick this material, and it will return me to the formula. You'll notice I've also let you know if the materials are naturally derived or if they have synthetic components. And I've also set minimum limits to suit the formula. So if you've ever worked with different preservatives, you'll know that they have specific inputs that need to be used to be effective. So even if you don't know this, you don't need to, because I've loaded them into the program to make sure that they'll be effective for the type of product you're creating. With essential oils, I have also included descriptions about the essential oil aroma, and I have loads of essential oils in this system. Just in case you want to use an essential oil I haven't already included, I have another essential oil so that you can add your own choice. But just make sure it's going to be compatible with other aromas and is used within regulatory and safety limits. Let's say I want to make a selection of bergamot, geranium, and ylang ylang. Now, before I return to the formula, I do want to show you one other thing. I have in here fragrance, so you could select your own. Fragrances and essential oils don't always go together, so you should only use one, for example, the fragrance, or an essential oil blend. And just in case you forget that, I have written that into the description for fragrance for you. It's up to you. You can use fragrances if you want, but then you generally only use one fragrance. But if you want to use essential oils, you'll often get the best result from a compatible blend. And in case you don't know what blend well together, I have given you this information in the program as well. So now that I've made my selections, I'm going to return to the formula. And now I can decide my individual inputs. I have also listed inputs for materials to make sure you're using safe inputs of different essential oils. I've already done the regulatory checks for you. And then you've got a total combination to suit the product type. So in a face cream, we should be limiting our overall essential oil input to 0.5%. So I've already preloaded these materials in for you to make sure you don't exceed that. And just in case you do, here's a reminder, and it's also gone red. I've used too many of the materials, so I need to adjust my inputs. And there we go. Now I have a safe and compatible blend. I can pick from all sorts of actives, and again, I've preloaded safety limits into these materials for you to guide you. So let's just make a couple of selections. I've also said if they're naturally derived or synthetic, and provided you with some information about what the active actually does. Now, I've also preloaded in some incompatibilities, and this has to do with other materials in the formula. So, for example, the preservative that I've picked is not compatible with vitamin A or these vitamin C forms, so I can't choose them. It instantly comes up as incompatible. You don't need to worry about this. It simply means you can't make an incompatible pairing. And again, if you do want to understand different materials and broaden your selection choices, then please learn more professionally with us, because we teach a whole lot more than this program could ever contain. This program is designed for beginners and those who want to start making more confident selections, but when you want to start formulating professionally, you should do some more advanced training. I am going to make these selections in the meantime and show you how we put them into the formula. So again, I've preloaded some example inputs you should be following, and I've also put in regulatory limits where they apply, so you don't have to worry about that. Now I've got added extras here for you. Added extras are materials that look good on a label and you can say the product contains them, but they don't have any clinical efficacy to prove their effect. So we can't say they're really doing anything for the product other than the product contains them. So let's pick just a couple of examples here. And you'll also see I've put limits in for those as well. So we can set and adjust how much of each material we add as well. And finally, antioxidant. I've preloaded some antioxidant choices for you so that you can pick a material and make sure that your product is effectively protected against oxidative changes. Finally, we can click on Generate Method, and here is your formula. It's all written up for you, and I've phased materials together that need to be processed together. And then down here, I have your method. Now this method very specifically suits the materials that have been selected for this formula. And you'll notice here that I have percentage weight input for all the different ingredients that I've selected. Now, if you're not sure about how to read percentage input, then please watch our free beginner video which shows you how to read important information from a formula. And this is the way any sort of formula should be written up. So down here I have the method about how you need to put this particular product together, but your method will suit your material selections. Finally, at the bottom, I do have some disclaimer information. While I've done everything I can to help you make the best theoretical selections, if you use different materials to what I've specified, you could get a different result. Also, once you put that first sample together, you'll then be able to see how like the product is to what you want it to be, and you can make some minor adjustments to the gums or the emulsifiers or the oils you've selected to alter the way the product feels or its final viscosity. Whenever you're creating products that need heating, make sure you always evaluate them the next day. The day you make them, they'll be a low viscosity because they need to reset, and they'll be set by tomorrow into their final form. So don't evaluate it today, and if it looks too runny today, don't panic. Tomorrow it will be a different form of product. You'll also notice I have a pH adjusting step at the end and at the end of the method. And if you're not sure how to check and adjust pH, please watch our video on pH adjustment, because it's really important that you check and adjust the pH of your formulas to suit the ingredients you've used and skin compatibility. I've been very specific about pH ranges and needs of products to help make sure that your product is going to be effective and effectively preserved, and these are really important steps. I've also have in my disclaimer that you should read all the SDS sheets of all materials you select before handling them, and to take necessary precautions like using gloves, safety glasses, and careful around heating elements. Make sure you store your materials in clean, dry, and cool places to get the best shelf life out of those materials. And make sure whenever you prepare your samples or products that it's in a clean lab situation, even if that's just a clean kitchen, because otherwise you can introduce a lot of excess contamination into your product, and even the best preservative selection won't protect against an unclean lab environment. Finally, I've provided some inky names to help you with your selections, but when you're preparing your final ingredient list to go onto a label, especially if you're going to be selling or providing a product to a consumer, you'll need to make sure you run some checks to make sure you've provided the full and correct ingredient listing on your specific product. This program will help you select ingredients to create your formula, but it doesn't provide you with the full compliance for your ingredient listing. So you'll need to run those checks for yourself. And if you're not sure, we do have a short course you can study with us on this to help you get it right. Well, there you go. You've just created your first formula, and you can see we've got a method to put it together correctly with a final pH that's going to suit the skin and specific to the ingredients that have been selected. Now it's over to you to source the materials and put your sample together in the lab and make any other fine adjustments you want to make it your own. If there's ingredients that you'd like us to include that aren't already in our system, please let us know. Please also send us a link to where you could purchase them locally and in small quantities, because we want to make sure this program is relevant to users, that they can access materials in small quantities to create products and source materials easily. So now it's over to you to get into the lab and have some fun. Happy formulating!